Sonny Melendrez, Sonny Radio, sonnyradio.com.
Hello, hello. It's Sonny Melendrez, and welcome to the positive side of the radio spectrum. Yep, this is it, the Sonny Melendrez Show. Every week, we strive to bring you entertainment and inspiration through storytelling, fascinating guests, exclusive celebrity interviews, and it's all delivered with lots of enthusiasm. Well, today, I have not one, but two extraordinary performers. I'll introduce them to you in a second. We're brought to you by Ideal Precision Roofing in San Antonio. You know, there's two basic reasons why homeowners would decide to get a new roof. One is they've got hail damage. It's got to happen. They've got to call the insurance company, got to get it going. The other one is maybe it's time for a new roof. Maybe your roof has seen much better days. In any case, the people to call are the people trusted by hundreds of San Antonio homeowners just like you. And that is Ideal Precision Roofing in San Antonio. You know, Ideal Precision Roofing really makes the process so easy. You call them, an expert comes out, checks it out, looks at your roof, goes up on the roof. You definitely don't want to do that. And then gives you all the information. And if you do indeed need a new roof, need to call your insurance company, they take care of it all, from the paperwork to the scheduling. And in the end, your home has a new roof from the Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor in San Antonio, Ideal Precision Roofing. Give them a call at 210-485-1553. That's 210-485-1553, or visit them at idealprecisionroofing.com and tell them that Sonny Melendrez sent you. And now, on with the show.
Sonny Radio, sonnyradio.com, San Antonio.
My first guest today is an internationally known, award-winning illusionist, keynote speaker, and storyteller. He's known as Harris III, and he's been called upon to create custom mind-blowing presentations around the world for organizations like Southwest Airlines and Elvis Presley Enterprises, and fundraising events for nonprofits like the Catalyst Leadership Conference. In fact, Catalyst went on to add Harris to their prestigious Young Influencers list, naming him one of America's most influential young people. He joins us by phone, and Harris, welcome to the show. How are you?
Excellent.
So let me ask you, where did the magic thing start? Were you a kid wanting to do that, or how did it happen?
Yeah, it all started when I was 9 years old. At the time, I was obsessed with baseball. And that year, I happened to remember asking for a baseball glove for Christmas from my grandparents. I just remember my grandmother was the one who always tried to spoil me. And so I thought if anyone was going to give me that baseball glove, it was going to be her. And sure enough, under her tree that year, there was a box that was the perfect size to hold a baseball glove. And I remember opening it up, giddy, excited, and it was a box of magic tricks. And if I'm honest, at first, I wasn't that excited about it. I was so bummed that it wasn't a baseball glove. And little did I know that little box of tricks would completely rock my world and change my life. And gosh, that was almost 30 years ago now.
Isn't that something? And it was your grandmother.
It was. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think
wonderful.
she ever saw that coming. I don't think she ever imagined that, grabbing that little box of tricks off of a shelf that day in the store would have led to what she got to experience.
Isn't that something? So you go to high school. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in southeast Tennessee in a little small town on some old farmland.
Yeah. Now, were you doing magic in high school?
Yes. Yeah. So I got that magic kit when I was 9. Took a couple of years, but finally booked my first official show when I was 11. So I was 11 for the first time that I got paid to do magic. And it took about 3 years for things to really start growing. But by the time I was 14, I was already doing about 50 shows a year.
Wow.
I'd performed in well over 20 states and had already kind of started my career as a magician.
At 14?
Yeah.
That is incredible, Harris. And so your magic now, how is it different from magic, say, 10 years ago?
Sure. Well, it's changed quite a bit, mostly in terms of the fact that I don't really see myself as a magician who entertains people as much as I am a storyteller who happens to do magic tricks. And that the epiphany of realizing that I'm a storyteller was huge for me, because I realized there was this greater story that I could tell, which added so much more meaning to the magic that I perform. Instead of the focus of a magic show being come and let me fool you, and for my goal to just be to trick people over and over and over, I realized that magic as an art form is capable of so much more than that. It's capable of drawing people in and stirring their imagination and piquing their curiosity, reawakening their sense of childlike wonder to all sorts of new possibilities in their lives and how they see the world. So the experience of, quote-unquote magic on stage can be somewhat transformative when it's presented differently. And so that's kind of been my approach, is to shift away from merely entertaining people or giving them an escape from the world, but helping them try to create a world that they don't feel the need to escape from. And to me, that was a big change.
I guess. And not only that, it sets you apart in many ways, but you also deliver some powerful messages, don't you?
Yeah, that's the hope. And most of those messages are the messages that I present on stage are kind of a combination of stories of those personal experiences and just some of the truths that I've learned from that perspective of going through those experiences.
And Harris, I also saw a video of you and your son, and you told a story there about what had happened in your career and how having him in your life changed things all over again.
Oh, gosh, yes. When I was about 30 years old, I was kind of at the top of my career as an entertainer, so to speak, and had kind of been there, done that, seen the world, and had gotten somewhat apathetic, highly cynical, and didn't really know what magic was anymore, especially didn't know if it's something that I wanted to continue performing. And I won't tell the whole story because I'll probably plan on telling it in the show that night in San Antonio, but I had this experience where I was laying on my couch ready to quit magic around the same time that I'd become a dad. And around the time that I was ready to quit magic, my son was seeing magic everywhere. Now I have 3 kids, 6, 4, and 1-year-old, and they continue to see it everywhere they go. Their eyes light up in wonder at the simplest, most mundane things that we take for granted.
Sure.
And it occurred to me, it's just very ironic that, most people refer to people like me as a magician, and they even call the stuff that they see me perform on stage magic. Even though we're all intelligent adults at this point, we know deep down it's not actually magic. They're just tricks and clever illusions and sleight of hand and psychology. But the irony is in that we call that magic, even though it's fake, and yet there are these very real, truly magical things in the world around us that we lay our eyes on every single day, and we're either desensitized to it or we just kind of shrug our shoulders in cynicism, rolling our eyes going, oh, none of that matters, or it's all fake. And yet that's the stuff that's truly magical. And so my hope in performing fake magic, tricks, and illusions, which is really to point people towards the kind of magic that's real, because it is all around us. We just have to take the time to learn how to actually see it.
Yeah, life is magic.
Yeah. Roald Dahl, famous children's author, he once said that those who don't believe in magic will never find it. And that's a great way of paraphrasing kind of the way that I see the world. Because a lot of people, they live as if like, oh, magic, I'll believe that when I see it. And we live as if seeing is believing, right? But what magicians prove is that seeing is not always believing, that things are not always what you get. So if you see me make something levitate on stage, it doesn't actually mean that it's levitating, which means you can't always trust what your senses perceive. You can't always trust what your feelings and emotions tell you. It's pretty easy to be deceived as human beings, not because we aren't smart or intelligent. It's just that most of us don't live with a deep awareness of how it is that we're fooled by the things in the world around us, or especially the ways that we fool ourselves. So if seeing isn't believing, then what we've discovered in the scientific research is that believing is actually seeing, that sometimes you have to believe in something before you can see it. And so those who think, well, I don't believe in magic because I can't see it, you will never see it, because as Roald Dahl said, those who don't believe in magic will never find it. So what you believe has the power to change what you see. That's kind of my hope, is through the show to remind people that seeing isn't believing, by giving them all sorts of visual examples of that that are highly fun, interactive, and engaging in the context of a magic show, but to remind them that what they believe has the power to change what they see.
Indeed. Well, Harris, I have to tell you, we're so looking forward to having you at the Any Woman Can show, and I know that you're going to be inspiring many of us in person, myself included, when we see you here in San Antonio on the 29th.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. It's what's cool about it is it's something that is somewhat universal. Magic tricks are. There's a lot of people who have different tastes in different genres of music or different styles of food and restaurants, and magic is just this really cool universal thing that anyone can relate to and understand and have a fun time watching. So there'll be lots of audience participation, lots of amazing magic, a lot of meaningful stories told, and hopefully together we'll create an experience that is unlike any other, because when you get the audience involved on stage, it makes every single night up there completely unique. So can't wait to be with you guys in San Antonio.
Same here. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, and we'll see you in San Antonio.
It was my pleasure. I can't wait.
There it is, Harris the Third. In a second, I'm going to introduce you to the incomparable Ruben V. Coming up, we're brought to you by Ideal Precision Roofing in San Antonio. Now, you may not know this, but there's a lot of innovations going on in the roofing industry these days. And because Ideal Precision Roofing is an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred contractor, they proudly use only the best from Owens Corning. And that includes the True Definition Duration Shingles. Now, that's a fancy name, but it means your home will have shingles that are state-of-the-art. And with Ideal Precision Roofing, you enjoy the best warranty in the business. And wait till you see the colors of these shingles. In fact, you can watch a special video on the Ideal Precision Roofing Facebook page. So call the roofing experts in San Antonio and get only the best for your home at 210-485-1553. That's 210-485-1553 for Ideal Precision Roofing. Or visit them on the web at idealprecisionroofing.com. And tell them that Sonny Melendrez sent you.
Sunny Radio, sunnyradio.com.
Hold me in your heart, shine a light on me, 'cause lonely has a rope hanging from his tree.
Ruben V is one extraordinary guitar player, singer-songwriter, and producer. He's released 8 solo CDs, 14 group albums, and averages over 120 shows a year. Ruben has shared the stage with musical giants like B.B. King, Los Lonely Boys, Robert Cray, George Thorogood, Delbert McClinton, and many more. He's been awarded the title of Best Guitar Player by the city of San Antonio, his current residence, and 4 times Best Songwriter and Best Blues Band. And it is so nice to have Ruben on the show in person. How are you, Ruben?
I'm wonderful.
Nice to have you in studio.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, so for somebody who's not familiar with Ruben V, give us a little bit about, what we can expect when we see you on stage.
Wow, that's a loaded question. I did an interview a while back, and they asked me what I sing about. It's 5 things: being in love, being out of love, loneliness, spiritual, and family. I mean, I don't know anything about dragons or cars.
Yeah.
I can only write what I know.
Sure.
This way it's honest, and that's, I don't know. I hope you walk away with that,
Well, you not only sing, but you play. And you play like nobody I've ever seen. I mean, it is just a phenomenal experience. I was talking to Harris III about his beginnings. Were you like that as a kid? Were you interested in music?
Yeah, well, early, my dad was a musician, so it just came into my life that way by accident. It was a complete accident.
How old were you when you first started getting gigs?
I did my first gig, I think 12, 13.
Wow.
Yeah, with my dad. It happened. My dad, we used to own a club in Corpus, and I was washing dishes for the summer behind the bar one night, just to make some extra money. Cause my parents were like, "Well, you have to work for what you want."
Sure.
So I wanted a pair of jeans, and so I had to go work. So that night, I guess the leader of the band they'd hired for that night came up to my mom. Was like, "Hey, where's Caesar at? Well, I'm looking for Caesar. Where's he at?" And he's like, "He's around here somewhere." And she's like, "What's up?" She goes, "No, I want him to sing with me." And I told my mom, "Sing? Dad doesn't sing. Like, he sings in the car, but he doesn't like sing for real." She goes, "No, before you guys, it's what he did." And I didn't know that. So when he got up there, I told the story a million times. It changed my life. Like, I had never seen something like that in person, especially from my dad, who ended up being my biggest hero in the world. It's like every man wanted to be my dad, and every woman had fallen in love with my dad. And I was like, oh, my God, I want to do that. I had no idea that was in our family.
Yeah,
So, and even my mom was just totally in love with my dad at that moment. I'm like, wow, that was just the best. And the singer that he was up there with didn't have that presence that my dad did. Because I didn't care less about that guy, but my dad got up and changed me. And that was it. I wanted to do that the rest of my life.
And you had never seen that before?
I mean, my dad and I sang in the truck constantly. Whether it's Elvis, Johnny Cash, Johnny Horton, whatever it was, we sang all the time. I'd go to work with him, 7, 8, 9 years old, when, whatever days, stuff I could hang out with him. But we sang together all. But I didn't know that for real, when he opened his mouth for real, instead of just messing around the car, how amazing that was.
Now, what happened when all of a sudden you became the person that you wanted to be and dreamed of, and he had inspired you to do? I mean, what was his reaction? I would imagine he was pretty proud.
He was my biggest fan, very much biggest supporter. Wasn't a day gone by that he wouldn't call if I was at a town. Hey, where you at? What city you in? He always checked on me. And now that he's been gone, it'll be 6 years this year. I miss that. I miss having my biggest supporter.
Can imagine.
Yeah.
Can imagine. You say you're talking about going on the road. You've played with some of the other heroes in your life. Tell me about those. Oh,
I've got to do all those shows. I mean, it's great. And to meet your heroes is great, and sometimes you got to wonder. Some of them I wish I wouldn't have met, because people forget that they're human, and if they're having a bad day, like you have to know if you get entertainment, you should know if they come up and you're having a bad day. But you have to be kind no matter what. And some people just. But B.B. King was the best. I think meeting him was a great, just an honor from from where he came from and how he ended.
Oh yeah.
I remember the day I played with him at the Majestic Theater. And next morning, the reviews were, "Oh, my God, B.B. King played. Nothing but You Are My Sunshine for 30 minutes. They're complaining." And I'm like, he was 89, 90 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think you should be happy to be in his presence for what he's done for the blues.
Exactly.
Should have been happy to be in his presence. And most people take it for granted that he was 90 years old and still able to play. And I don't know. I get angry with stuff like that.
I know.
Because it hurts my feelings. But Robert Cray was one of my favorite. I mean, so many of the blues guys I got to hang with, and I've played on and off for 20 years with Augie Myers. We talked about that before.
Yeah, we had Augie on the show. Some time ago.
Just meeting legends like that and being around in those presence is the best for me.
Well, I'm sure there a lot of them feel the same way about you. And we're talking about really two entities with you. Not only are you a great singer, and you bring so many songs to life, but you're also an incredible guitarist. How do you stay on top of your game with the way that you play guitar? Do you practice every day?
Every day, all day.
Really?
Every day, yeah. I mean, it's if you come to my house, if there's nobody, like my wife goes to work, my kids go to school, it's on my neck the whole time. I'm cooking breakfast, it's on my neck. I get home from doing a 3-4 hour show, and I put it back on. And I noodle in front of the iPad as I'm trying to relax, and I don't know any different. I was a very shy kid. I wasn't good at speaking. I didn't want to speak out loud, and so the guitar became my voice. And so I had to learn to speak with that better than I could in person.
I can relate to that. There's no question about that. What inspires you the most?
I don't know. Lately it's been different. Lately it used to be just always looking for something bigger. My song. I didn't want to be a ditty writer. You make your most money with ditties. But I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be the serious Bruce Springsteen kind of writer. And a lot of my stuff is that. It really is life and stuff that I've been through. Because I don't think you can write what you don't know. And being blues, you can't. Happy blues is cool, but it's not the blues.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So nowadays, I have to go through Rolodex because I'm so blessed with the family that I have. My wife is amazing, and my kids are great. So it's hard to write the blues when everything is wonderful. So I don't know. I probably used to create craziness in my life just to have something to write about. And you don't mean to, but it happens.
I got to tell you, you're probably, one of the most beautiful musical assets of our city. But I imagine that you're also very proud of why you're doing this program.
Well, yeah. This kind of stuff is why I play. It used to be about, the whole scene. It used to be the girls or whatever when you're a kid. And then you get older and you realize that's not what music is about. If you're not touching their souls with your music, like for me, I don't think I'm a very good guitar player. There's people that are way better than me, but how can I put it? I just express how I play. Like I only play like me. I don't know any other way. I can't play like Stevie Ray Vaughan or Santana because people come up, oh, you sound just like Santana or you sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I've never learned one of their songs. I was the worst at learning people's songs. I could only play like me. Mm-hmm. And I used to think that was a bad thing, but now when I hear myself, I know it's me. The minute something comes on, like, oh, okay, that's me playing. Like if I'm a guest on somebody's record, I automatically know it's me. And that was my goal as a kid, was to just play like me.
Sure.
But to have your signature sound the way that you sound, like a voice. When I hear you speak, I know it's Sonny on the radio. And that's what you want. And that's what I've tried to strive for my whole life.
Of all the songs that you've played and written, what's your favorite?
I have three. One I wrote for my dad. Well, he helped me write. He transposed it to Spanish for me. He asked me to sing something in Spanish. And I was like, Pop, I don't speak Spanish very well. But he's like, you can do one. And my dad was already sick at the time. And so he helped me write. It's called Levántame. And it's about how it was really about my dad, to be honest. It's about how he used to be this 6'3" great big man, and little by little the disease takes him, and so the song is really looking for angels to pick him up and rise him so he can fly again, because it was hard to see him go from such a big man to nothing, and that's what it's about. That's probably my favorite song I play.
Wow.
And sometimes I play it and it doesn't affect me. Sometimes I play it like it's just a song, just play it. But sometimes if my mind goes a little wandering too much, it's really hard to make it through. It's really hard to make it through.
The other two?
Way, the Truth, and Life. I was sitting at Harvest Church 20-something years ago, and I'd read the beginning, the pamphlet for the morning, and I was like, oh, my goodness, that just sounded amazing. But I'd heard it 1,000 times, but for some reason it hit me hard that morning. And I got up to leave, and the pastor was like, where are you going? You hadn't even started. I said, no, I got to get this out of my head. And that song has been great for me. And it's funny if you don't know Scripture, I took it right. It's Scripture, complete Scripture. I just put music to it. But I wanted to humanize it to where Jesus was just having dinner or lunch with his friends and going, look, don't act like you don't know where I'm going. Don't act like you don't know who I am. You've been with me this long. And that's what I wanted. And so that's one of my favorites to play live.
I hope you'll play that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the third one?
Just a love song called With You. It's just a beautiful love song. I wrote it when my wife and I had a disagreement one night, and I was going to just take off and go for a ride on my motorcycle. And instead, I just sat down and wrote that instead.
There you go.
Yeah, because, marriage has to have the ups and downs, or it's not a marriage. You're just two people living together. So if you're not communicating, and if you're not going to get along all the time, and that's what makes it wonderful. So that's where some of the inspiration comes from, is life like that. Stuff that people don't understand, that it's not always wonderful. It's work, and you have to. We'll be together 20 years.
Congratulations.
So
great. We'll have a celebration on the 29th.
Yes, that's going to be great. But my second time, I got to call back.
Exactly. Leap day. All right. Ruben V, along with Harris III, February 29th, Laurie Auditorium, and doors open at 6. Tickets available right now at the Any Woman Can website. That would be on Facebook, as well as sunnyradio.com/show. Thank you so much, and I look forward to introducing you on stage once again with your callback.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruben. That's my visit with Harris III and Ruben V. Now, before I leave you, let me just say this. I've hosted events, literally thousands of them, around the world during my career. And I cannot remember the last time that I was so excited about a show. That is coming up on February 29th in San Antonio. It's a benefit for Any Woman Can. And I promise you, you will be mesmerized by both of these incredible performers. Do not miss this show. You'll get details by going to sunnyradio.com/show. I hope to see you there, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Until next time, I'm Sonny Melendrez, and I hope you have an extraordinary week. Bye-bye.